Hello， 大家好。LINE 的优秀工程师团队有各式各样的工程师，你都了解了吗？接下来就让我们来欢迎重视客户体验与产品效能 LINE UIT 团队的 Peter 来为大家带来团队服务与工作说明的介绍。让我们欢迎
Peter。Hello everybody. My name is Peter Mares, and I am a member of UIT team here in LINE Taiwan office. Today I'm going to introduce our team to you and hopefully get you interested in joining us. LINE offers various services in the global scene. Besides its famous instant messaging, there are many other products such as Today, Shopping, Spot, or Travel. In user interface technology team, we are responsible for the web front-end implementation of these services. When I started working as a web developer many years ago, I spent most of my time crafting HTML and CSS layouts, adding little interaction here and there via JavaScript. Now, almost a decade later, we have come a long way as web developers, becoming better professionals with a greater impact on the products we are working on. Front-end development has never been so exciting, yet challenging as it is today. There is so much to learn now. New tools, libraries, plugins, and frameworks emerge virtually every other day. Fortunately, our front-end team here in LINE has been keeping up with the latest practices and has incorporated the modern JavaScript ecosystem in our applications. Let's look, for example, at LINE Today. The first service released in March 2016 is the biggest product in our office. Since its release in less than 1 year, they reach 16 million monthly active users, and current 18 million means roughly 80% of 23 million Taiwanese population. This proves that LINE Today has become a powerful information hub for LINE users in Taiwan. Or another example, LINE Spot, one of the newest services released less than a year ago in June 2019. They implemented feature which shows face masks availability in less than a week since the outbreak of coronavirus. You may be curious, why do we need web front-end team when most of the products inside LINE run inside the Messenger app? Well, having hybrid app where you have native skeleton that displays various web applications inside the web views brings many benefits. One of the main reasons is that we can just write one code which can run both on iOS and Android devices. Also, delivery of the new version is painless. We can just deploy the latest code to our servers, and it is immediately available to all our users. We don't need to wait for approval or submit our code to App Store and wait for a review. Also, hybrid apps make maintenance cost lower because we don't need to keep large teams of developers for each specific platform. So how do we develop our products? As most of tech companies nowadays, we use agile software development. We believe that collaborative effort and self-organization of our product teams results in better solutions. Each product is developed independently, so the details of what I'm talking about may vary. This particular example is from LINE Today because I worked on this product in past. Our work is split into 2-week sprints. Each sprint begins with a planning meeting. During this meeting, the product owner, in our case the planner, and the development team agree upon exactly what work will be completed during this sprint. The development team has the final say when it comes to determining what work can actually be accomplished during the sprint. The product owner, on the other hand, has the final say when it comes to define what criteria needs to be met for the work to be approved and accepted. During the sprint, team members daily meet during the daily stand-up meetings to discuss the process, the progress, and the challenges. On the 5th day, team members review items in the backlog to ensure it contains only appropriate and prioritized items during backlog refinement meeting. At the end of the 8th day, the development stops to enable QA team do their regression testing the day after. At the end of the sprint, on the 10th day, the development team meets with the product owner to present their work. And also, retrospective meeting is held to allow improvement of the process for future. Release of the latest version usually happens 2 days after the end of the sprint on the 12th day. As you can see from our development process, our product teams are cross-functional. It means that on daily basis, we closely communicate with other teams and also work with them. Let me make another example from Line Today. In January, a couple months ago, Taiwan held its general elections. Line Today already covered local elections in 2018, so they have a lot of features implemented. But when business owner requested a module that shows presidential candidates, planner team had to prioritize this feature and put it into their backlog. Once the feature was decided to be implemented, planners provided detailed specifications and requirements to other team members. Design team had to decide how the module will look, and backend team had to implement new API to provide all the required data. Once this was ready, we, UIT members, took the specs, the design, and the API, and we implemented the front-end components and functionality. After our code was ready, also some level of unit test coverage was required before the code can be submitted to GitHub. After that, we can ask other UIT members to provide feedback during our PR review. They may ask us to do some changes to improve the efficiency of the code or improve the readability. After all this is done, our PR can be merged to master branch and deployed to beta, staging, or production server through the CI/CD pipeline. After our code was released to the beta servers, QA team can start doing their manual testing and run their test scripts. Any bug that is immediately reported to us and fixed as soon as possible. How do we actually achieve all this? As I mentioned earlier, new tools appear almost every day. We follow the latest trends, but if we find some really useful tool, we tend to stick with it. Here you can see a list of the tools that we use most often. The technical stack is quite huge, so I will not mention every specific task separately. I just want to mention that most of our products are written in Vue, even though we have products that use React or web components as well. And because we use Vue, a lot of our products also use Nuxt because it makes the initial setup and configuration of the product easier. Even though we use all these tools to make our daily work easier, there will always be some challenges. Besides the common software-related challenges like code optimization or performance, web development has its own specific issues. I would like to highlight two of those. First is the cross-browser or cross-device support. As you probably know, most browsers implement different features or they have different implementation of specific features. We not only need to handle those problems, but also line in-app web views have some specific APIs that are not available elsewhere. Our web applications also need to support all devices, iOS and Android, that Line Messenger app supports. Currently it is iOS 11 and newer, and Android 4.4 and newer. And of course I need to mention that we need to support all different screen sizes, from mobile through tablet to desktops. It depends on the project, but we usually implement responsive design. But if the project specifications are too different, we may implement different code for each specific device group. But we always go mobile first. Second problem I would like to mention is cross-language support. Line is a global company. It means that our applications need to support many different languages. It is much easier now than in past when we have system fonts, but correct font is just part of the problem. Different languages have different readability or density of text. Let's, for example, look at these 4 different writings in Chinese, English, Korean, and Thai. Each of these examples are written in the same font size, but as you can see, they take different space. Not only different length, but also different height of the text. To provide the best experience to our users in any country, we need to consider these differences and make sure that our content is pleasant and easy to use. But life at Line is not just work. We also do a lot of fun activities and interesting events. Just in September, we had Global UIT workshop in Korea, where we had the opportunity to meet and discuss with the other UIT members from all offices. Also in November, we have team building in Nangang, where we played airsoft with all our members. And this Friday, we are going to try skiing and snowboarding here in Neihu. Also, depending on your project, you may have chance to do business trip to other Line offices in Korea, Japan, Thailand, or Vietnam. So, Line is a company that dreams of the best services in the world, boldly fighting all the challenges along the way. Every top service that we think about has one big thing in common. It's the wow factor. An unprecedented experience that makes you so excited that you just want to share it with your friends. We are looking for the same wow factor in our candidates as well. You should understand that users rule and always try to step ahead of others. Good candidate should also be data-driven, be eager to know why something should be done rather than just blindly following what somebody tells you. And also, you should focus on completing your task instead of finding reasons why it cannot be done. So, if you like what I just talked about, we would be pleased if you scan the QR code or visit the link above and apply to open position in our front-end team. We will be looking forward to see you as our new colleague and friend. Thank you very much for your listening, and now we will do Q&A. People often ask us what to expect from our front-end interview. I believe that there are many informations online about what to do and what not to do during interview process. So let us skip the general questions or recommendations, and let me provide some specific ideas that we have from our previous experience. First of all, it will be great if you can provide your role, stack, experience, and achievements in your resume. This will allow us to know you better before meeting you. Secondly, if you write something on your resume, be sure that you really know and understand the topic, because for sure we will ask about it. Also, don't be afraid to mention, to describe something on the whiteboard if it helps you to explain it better. We understand that one picture may be worth more than 1,000 words. And lastly, don't be afraid to say if you don't know something. It will let us help you to provide some hints to give you better answer. Second question is, what does a typical day look like in Taiwan UIT team? Well, it really depends on the project you're working on, because you may be assigned to project very small with 1, 2, 3, 4 developers, or large project with 40 plus teams. So your day will be highly affected by this. But in general, our day starts with daily meeting where we sync up with our peers. After that, we can usually code until lunchtime, which is at 1 p.m. After lunch, some people like to have coffee or snack, so nobody is tracking what time you really get back to the office. But after everybody's back to the office, there is usually some common Scrum necessary meetings or discussion with other team members. But most of the time, I can just focus on my task and just keep coding. Third question is, how do you describe your team's culture? I would say it's open and without boundaries. We not only do HTML and CSS and JavaScript, but we have people who work on CI/CD for other teams. We have people who are professionals in Kubernetes, and we also implement our own web servers or GraphQL services. As long as you're interested and willing to contribute, you can always participate in different parts of the product lifecycle. You can just ask your manager. George is actually really friendly. You can always ask him to go for a coffee and discuss with him what you would like to do. And next question is there a product rotation in line? yes, there is possibility to rotate your products, and it's actually encouraged because each product has different stage and different pace of development. And also working on different products or projects enables you to co-work with other developers and work on other tasks. This is actually very beneficial for you as a developer, and it helps you to grow as a professional. It's also possible to change your role completely. If you find yourself interested in different position, like transition to back-end or planning team, it's also possible. And last question is, what is the recruiting process for a front-end engineer? Okay, let me describe. First of all, you need to provide your resume. It doesn't matter if it comes from your personal website, from 104, or Headhunter. Our manager will review your resume and will send invitation to pre-test to the potential candidate. This pre-test is usually online questionnaire which takes about 60 to 90 minutes and consists of roughly 8 to 10 questions. After your pre-test is reviewed and we find you suitable for next round, we will schedule a technical interview. This interview also takes around 60 to 90 minutes, and it's usually done through video conference like Skype. After this, you will be interviewed face-to-face by our manager. And after this, you only need to meet with the HR to discuss details, and then you can just hop in and start working with us. That's all. Thank you very much for listening, and hope to see you